A threat that forced several Poway area schools on lockdown is over tonight, but students and parents are still shaken. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Carlo Cicchetto.
I'm Jesse Pagan, in for Marcella Lee. A total of 7 schools were impacted. San Diego police say an anonymous caller threatened shootings at Del Norte High School and nearby elementary schools.
CBS 8's Shannon Handy joins us live now with the investigation and the latest. Shannon, the timing of this obviously scary for a lot of parents and kids.
Yeah, Carlo and Jesse, people are still in the process of grieving that shooting in Texas. So to have this happen just 2 days later is very nerve-wracking. Not only that, but people are angry. We heard from students who had to barricade themselves inside classrooms, and parents dropped everything to rush to the schools to make sure their kids were okay.
There is nobody on campus actively threatening your kids at this point.
San Diego police tried to reassure parents gathered outside Del Norte High School that their kids were safe after a threat was made earlier in the day.
We received, and the San Diego Sheriff's Department received a call from a Google number with a robotic voice saying that somebody was going to shoot up the Del Norte High School and a nearby elementary school. We take these threats extremely seriously.
Both SDPD and the Sheriff's Department responded. At Del Norte, you could see armed officers on the roof. Since the threat was so broad, in addition to Del Norte, 6 other nearby schools were placed on lockdown. It lasted about 2 hours, during which time kids were barricaded inside classrooms. Some reported hiding under desks, having to turn off lights and close blinds. Meanwhile, parents waited outside, anxious for answers.
It's concerning because should we send our kids to school or tomorrow or not, right? Like it's happening quite often.
Are you going to introduce new security features or something?
Today's threat comes just days after a shooting in Texas that left 19 students and their 2 teachers dead. Parents I spoke with say while they've dealt with threats before, the timing of this one makes it even more nerve-wracking.
Oh, it's horrible for us as parents and torture for them as kids who are inside there and not knowing what's happening and not knowing what to do.
I don't want to feel like I can send my kids to school and not feel safe with them. Especially, oh my goodness. We just discussed the shooting and I don't want to live like this. I don't want to live in fear.
San Diego police eventually determined there was no actual threat, though it's unclear where the call came from. As kids reunited with their parents, some reported feeling nervous and scared, including Stone Ranch 5th grader Riley Wilson.
Everybody started running, and we ran into the library, and then we were just sitting there, and we didn't know what was going on. And I was really scared.
Meanwhile, for others, it didn't impact them as much, which one parent told me worries her the most.
I didn't really get scared that much, but my friends did. But I just calmed them down.
We've become desensitized to these situations, and that's not normal.
And as you heard, a lot of parents weren't just questioning what happened today. They want to know about security in the future. They're also worried about their kids' mental health. A district official tells me it's something they are constantly working on. As for this threat, it will be investigated, and extra police presence will be at those schools impacted by today's threat.
All right, Shannon, thank you. Meantime, thousands of students across the country walked out of class today demanding stronger gun control after the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. And students at Steele Canyon High School in the Spring Valley joined in. The kids stood in silence in honor of the 19 kids and 2 adults killed in Texas. They held signs, some pointing out gun violence as the leading cause of death for American kids, others saying, "Don't shoot," and "We are the future." More demonstrations are expected tomorrow. Meantime, at the center of all of this, Uvalde, Texas tonight, rows of crosses on the campus of Robb Elementary School mark each of the 21 lives lost. We're also learning more about what happened on Wednesday as people are scrutinizing the police response to the shooting. The Texas Department of Public Safety's director says the 18-year-old shooter was inside the school for at least 40 minutes before a tactical team confronted and killed him. By then, 19 kids and 2 teachers were dead and several others hurt.
I didn't see no preparedness at all. I mean, as soon as they heard that gunshot, they should have rushed in.
A law enforcement source tells CBS News the shooter went into the school with 7 loaded magazines, or about 210 rounds of ammunition. There were another 15 magazines in his backpack.
CBS 8 is working for you, taking a closer look at the voting records of politicians when it comes to gun legislation. As David Goffredson reports, a CBS 8 viewer contacted us wanting to know where our local members of Congress stand when it comes to gun control laws.
United States Congress members voted on 2 gun control bills in 2021 having to do with background checks. H.R. 8, the Bipartisan Background Checks Act, aimed to close a loophole allowing gun buyers to avoid background checks when purchasing a gun through a private party. In San Diego County, Democrats Mike Levine, Scott Peters, Juan Vargas, and Sarah Jacobs voted in favor. Republican Congressman Darrell Issa voted against it. The resolution passed the House, but no vote has been taken in the Senate. H.R. 1446, the Enhanced Background Checks Act, aimed to close another firearm background check loophole. Again, the bill passed in the House along party lines, with San Diego County's only Republican Congressman, Darrell Issa, voting against it. It has not yet made it to the U.S. Senate. Those same 2 background check bills were voted on by the San Diego County Board of Supervisors in an advisory vote in April of last year. Democratic supervisors Nora Vargas, Tara Lawson-Remer, and Nathan Fletcher voted in favor. Republicans Joel Anderson and Jim Desmond voted against it. Around the same time in the city of San Diego, Mayor Todd Gloria put out a statement supporting the 2 background check bills, saying, "These bills will help keep weapons out of the hands of criminals, reduce needless violence, and create a safer nation for all of us." Then in August of last year, the San Diego City Council voted to ban ghost guns. The entire City Council voted in favor, except for Councilman Chris Cate in District 6.
This law does nothing to prevent mass shootings. This law does nothing to hold criminals accountable. This law does nothing to make us safer.
Now, not surprisingly, the way the local politicians vote on gun control issues generally falls along party lines. Carlo?
David, any indication that those stands will change in the wake of the Uvalde shooting?
Well, we reached out to Darrell Issa, Jim Desmond, Joel Anderson, and Chris Cate, and we asked them just that. Have your views changed in light of these recent shootings? None of them responded to our messages or our requests for comment.
I guess we need to keep asking them. David Goffredson reporting for us. Thanks, David. Meantime, an older generation of school shooting survivors are asking for better gun regulations following the Uvalde shooting. Today, we talked to someone who was a student at a Santee High School more than 20 years ago when it was the scene of a mass shooting. In 2001, Kristen Dare was a junior at Santana High when a classmate opened fire, killing 2 students and wounding 13 others. Dare told CBS 8 it makes her angry to think not much has changed in 2 decades. She says her generation wants action and wants it now.
We're all older, we're voters, we want to put our money and our time and our votes to things that matter, and nobody's right to own a gun is going to be more important than the life of a child, so we need to find a balance here.
Dare has helped raise money for a scholarship fund in honor of her 2 classmates that were killed. For information about that, you can go to cbs8.com.
People living in Bankers Hill say a new apartment complex doesn't belong in their neighborhood. The developer's plans call for a 180-foot tall building. CBS 8's Brian White tells us neighbors say the plan is oversized and even against regulations.
I'm here at the corner of 3rd Avenue and Spruce Street, where a developer wants to build a 17-story high building right there. And some people living in the area say that a building of that size would be a monstrosity.
You want to integrate with the neighborhood. You want to preserve what that neighborhood is about. This one is going to set a new precedent, which will change the landscape of the community.
Frank Fortunato lives right next door to the proposed building site for a 162-unit, 17-story high apartment complex that would replace these 1-story commercial buildings that are currently there.
It's going to be 10 feet from my wall to the building's wall.
He worries that the gigantic size of this complex at around 180 feet tall would ruin the community character here in Bankers Hill, which on this street is mostly 2- and 3-story homes that stay under 40 feet in height.
This house is 2 stories. It's going to be 8 to 10 times the size of this house. Like, it's going to command the landscape around.
Other neighbors agree. They say a building of this magnitude would be better suited a few blocks over on 6th Avenue, where it would fit in better with the surroundings.
None of these neighborhood buildings are of that size. It's just way out of spec for the neighborhood.
Cast Development has applied for a neighborhood development permit with the city for this property at 301 Spruce Street. They're designating this as a complete communities project, which can allow for higher density near areas with more public transit available.
You know, we worked for 7 years on the community plan and zoning, and this project goes completely against that. So I think it's fair to say people feel violated by this project.
Other neighbors like Brer Marsh think this project is an exciting one, and he sees the need for more like it.
People like to see the things that they like, but ultimately there's more than one perspective in a neighborhood. You know, change is hard, but it happens in cities, and you know, we have a lot of needs.
Meanwhile, Frank next door just hopes they can have more input on the final outcome.
Just allowing the community to have a bigger voice in what's going on and actually allow the community to feel like they can influence the development that's going on in their neighborhood.
Lawrence Howard with Cast Development tells me they're committed to meeting the city's requirements for a number of affordable housing units. Right now, the project only shows 11 affordable units, but that number is yet to be determined. In Bankers Hill, I'm Brian White for CBS 8.
Thank you, Brian. CBS 8, remember, is working for you. If there's an issue you'd like us to look into, email us at yourstories@cbs8.com.